it shows up on the map here. Rolling Fork, we showed 2:45. So yeah, we're still about 30 minutes away from that there. I'm going to put Kosciuszko as our first city in that list. So we kind of take that kind of all the way to the Mississippi-Alabama state line. They're just giving you an idea. Again, Pearl River, we're looking at about 5:06 for you. Philadelphia, 5:15, 5:24 there. Louisville, Sugarlock, just about 6 o'clock, Macon about 6:04. Again, assuming this thunderstorm complex doesn't expand either north or south. So damaging winds with this, some large hail. All of our projections, you heard Maggie and I talking about it this morning, and Gabe and I were talking about it last night. All of our projections have had at least one of these complexes of storms that gets really going fast, produces damaging wind, and could try to spin up tornadoes. And that's what this complex is. Now, most of the storms that we have across the remainder of North Mississippi here and East Mississippi, these are all well below severe limits. These are a lot weaker than when we had some large hail out of them earlier on. Our True Shield hail track, which we've been using off and on, today over the last 24 hours looking at hail, do not have any large hail reports showing up with that there. Of course, if you do have a hail report to send in, you can do that using the Mississippi Live Weather app. True Shield Roofing, kind of one of those good, bad sort of situations, trying to reward and make the best of a bad situation. If you do have a large hail report in excess of an inch, send that picture in using the Mississippi Live Weather app. And if you do that, they are basically going to, if you have the largest hail report, do a $100 gift card. So it's that gift card can be used anywhere. I believe it's a Walmart gift card. Kind of a cool thing that they've done, unique, I think, to Mississippi Live. I don't think I've ever heard of anywhere ever doing that. But expecting, again, some hail with these storms this evening. And you can, of course, send those pictures in using the Mississippi Live Weather app. And double checking that, we have not had a lot of our pictures in the last little bit. Most of our pictures were with the storms earlier on, so that's a good sign that these storms aren't quite at the same level there. As I look back into Arkansas, I'm going to look at some of these thunderstorms back more deeply into Arkansas and check some of the speeds on these before we wrap things up. Again, you can join the conversation with us on Facebook, on YouTube, on the different types of social media. Appreciate you, Patrick, for your support there, for watching us from Duck Hill and Solgen, Baldwin, and all the other places there. The mention a moment ago was about the tornado watch until 10 p.m. That does not include the northeastern portion of the state. This is for locations around the Golden Triangle to the east there. So let me get a speed on some of these storms. I'm going to change this over to our radar site out of the Memphis area and kind of double check, because one of the questions we had looking at our strike model a little bit ago, and these storms do look to be moving faster up here closer to the Memphis area. So I want to get an angle on these and a speed as well. We'll do kind of a, now that I've got that look, let's make it a 1 hour loop. So we got a good speed on that. So, and it does show storms developing kind of ahead of the main ones. See, those are moving closer to 50 miles per hour. That would be more what I would expect. So even with these southern storms, while I did not show them quite as fast there, I do expect that these all are going to pick up speed. So I'm going to fill in a storm track, and then I'm going to talk to Gabe, because Gabe has something there behind the scenes, so we can have a conversation. This is going to be kind of the leading edge of this. The actual storms themselves might pick up a little bit, might especially in the middle part there, might linger a little bit longer than what we have this. So let's take that. Let's change our size up to 3. Let's extend that out 200 miles. Okay, we've got to go farther than that. Extend it out 300 miles. And then we're going to start that in our list here. Give me a moment to bring that up. Apologize, this is taking me a second to get this right. But long tracks, one thing I love about our system is it's very precise. One thing I dislike is long tracks are a little harder than they were on my old system. But if that's the worst I have to complain about, I think we'll be okay. And then I'm going to hear from Gabe here in a second. I promise, Gabe, I'm not gonna ignore you. So let's see here. I'm going to pick it up at, say, Forest City. Let's kind of pick that up there, make that our first city. Okay, and now we're going to hear from our meteorologist, Gabe Maynor, while I kind of tweak this a little bit better. Gabe, what you got?
Well, one thing that I wanted to make note of is the areas that are not included in the tornado watch. Something that the National Weather Service up in Memphis is hinting at is the potential of a watch extending more into their coverage area, which would be North Mississippi. So that tornado watch out in northern Arkansas, or should I say central Arkansas, that's until 7 p.m. As those storms begin to move east towards the eastern part of Arkansas and western parts of northwest Mississippi, that's where we could see that watch even extend into North Mississippi. So I'm not saying they're completely out of the woods just yet. So that's